Good morning. It's Monday, the 23rd of November, and it's time for DaviePHD's Mythbusters, episode 17. Many things are said about Scotland, independence, the Union, the European Union, etc. In these videos I bust the myths that many people believe and are commonly peddled by those opposed to independence. This week I'm busting the old but newly spouted and just as newly retracted but very wrong myth that devolution has been a disaster. Last week, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson was quoted as saying, "Devolution has been a disaster." Now, generally I'd be straight in calling bullshit, but one's opinion on these issues depends greatly on one's point of view. Boris's point of view is, undoubtedly, that this is bad for him and his party and their donors. But viewed from the point of view of the average Scot, devolution can only be a positive. But let's first look at devolution from the Unionist point of view. Now, I'm not convinced that Tony Blair and New Labour wanted to give Scotland its own parliament from the goodness of their hearts. I'm pretty sure they did it to consolidate Scottish support in the 1997 UK general election that brought them to power. So it was a success. Give Scotland a degree of autonomy, but keep them in the Union. Initially a success, but now? And keep down the rising appetite for independence. Well, disaster. Now let's look at it from an independence point of view. Whilst not all of the SNP initially supported the idea of devolution, and one faction of the party even wanted us to vote against it, devolution has provided more autonomy for Scotland. Success. The chance for the SNP to govern and show that they're capable of doing so. Success. And it is a step towards independence. So it's a success. So it met one of Tony Blair's objectives, but met all of the SNP's. But why should anybody care about how politicians and party members like myself feel about it? There may be people who don't care one way or the other if we're under Westminster rule, devolved, independent. So for now I'm going to assume that you're an average Scot who's politically neutral. How has devolution been a success for you? Well, I know 186 reasons that despite your politics, it has been. No, we don't have all day to discuss them, but here are a few key things. The baby box, a jam-packed box full of baby essentials to help new parents at the start of a child's life. Free childcare, 600, soon to be 1140 hours of early learning and childcare, saving families thousands of pounds and allowing parents to return to the workplace. Free college and university tuition. Students in England face tuition fees of up to £36,000 for a 4-year degree. Scottish students receive university tuition free. Personal care for all. Free personal and nursing care, extended to everyone who needs it, regardless of their age. Record high health funding, up by over 60% under the SNP, with over £15 billion in 2020-21. Frontline health spending in Scotland is £136 per person, higher than England. A safer country. The Scottish Crime and Justice Survey estimates overall crime is down by 42% since 2008-2009, and is at the lowest level estimated by the survey. Police recorded crime has fallen by 41% under the SNP between 2006-07 and 2018-19, and is at one of the lowest levels ever seen since 1994. Don't worry folks, I'm not going to go over the other 180 things on the list, or I'll be here all day. But these are just the headlines from 13 years of SNP-led Scottish government. These and many other benefits like them make real and tangible differences to the lives of our 5.4 million residents. Compare and contrast this with the UK government's obsession with status and power and its place on the global stage, rather than the everyday lives and struggles of their citizens. And the difference that devolution makes is clear. Now, no government ever gets everything 100% right. Some are more honest about their shortcomings than others. Nicola is more honest than most leaders about our government shortcomings and more willing to address them. But in that list of 186 positive developments under SNP-led Scottish Government, I think most reasonable people could work their way through that list and all find at least one thing that has made a positive difference to their lives. But let's just say you couldn't. Let's just say you got through that list and not one of those things, not one of those 186 positive achievements has made your life any better. Well, how about a really bloody big one? The UK Living Wage Foundation recently published the following information. 15 years ago, 15 of the UK's 20 poorest local areas were in Scotland. Today, none of them are. 0. Today, all 20 of them are in the north and northwest of England. This is what happens with 13 years of competent, caring SNP government, even operating within the constraints of the devolution settlement. We have delivered. Can you imagine what we could achieve if we were running the whole show? Now, devolution was not some benevolent gift to the people of Scotland. It was offered in the name of short-term political expediency and in a bid to shore up Labour support north of the border. And for a while it worked, but look at where they are today. In its long-term aim to suppress the desire for Scottish independence by allowing us some autonomy, well, whichever side of the divide you're on, no one can say it has had the desired effect. The only group to take full advantage of the opportunities presented by devolution are the SNP. And the people who have benefited most are the Scottish people. Even those Scottish people who are not SNP supporters have benefited greatly, whether they want to see it or not. In addition to generally bettering the lives of the majority of Scots, the party have increased their influence in the Scottish and UK parliaments and, by extension, the rest of the world. Now, this may surprise any unionist viewers, but we in the independence side are not total idiots. And we can be generous, even to Boris Johnson. We know that when talking to an audience comprised mostly of his supporters in a particular place, in a particular time, and in a particular context, that Boris Johnson can say whatever the hell he likes. We also know the pain of having those words cast up every time your political opposition speaks. I just hope that in the fullness of time he can extend the same courtesy to anyone who may have, in a particular place and time and in a particular context, uttered the words, I don't know, once in a generation. A phrase which has been a millstone around the Indy cause's neck for so long. If he does not, then I suspect that devolution has been a disaster will become the same millstone around Boris's neck and the neck of the Union. Boris's words were correct from his point of view. Scottish devolution has been a disaster for him, for the Conservatives and their supporters. But for us Indy fans, even one like me, who voted against it in 1997. Yeah, you did hear that right. I voted against devolution in 97. But I now know I was wrong. Devolution has been an unparalleled success. Folks, thanks for watching. Please feel free to share this video with anyone you like, especially undecided voters. DaviePHD.